Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Food School Smarter, Stronger, Leaner podcast on a mission to inspire a world where food makes us better. Guys, happy Monday and happy last day of November. There are also supposed to be like moon eclipse today or this night. Soon it's December and it's going to be the last month of 2020 and soon it's going to be New Year and we all hope that it's going to bring more pleasant surprises than unpleasant ones, right? But anyhow, guys, I wanted to share with you something that I do at the beginning of every month and beginning of every year or beginning of any significant time frame in my life or some period of my life that it seems to be significant. So what I do is I like to ask myself where I am right now in the important areas of my life, like where I am when it comes to my health, where am I when it comes to my professional growth and career and service to others, where am I when it comes to my relationships with other people, be that family, friends, romantic relationships. Where am I when it comes to personal development and growth and becoming a bigger, better version of myself, or, someone different, someone who I'm not yet, but aspire to be. So I'm asking myself these questions, where I am right now in all these areas of my life. And the next question is, in a month from now or in a year from now, even though, guys, for me, a year or several years, sometimes it seems too overwhelming, but a month, a week, it seems to be manageable. Like I can wrap my head around that, right? Especially in this past year, 2020, if it taught me anything, is that, we can plan long term, but there are so many things that can change, things that we have no control over, things that we couldn't predict, like COVID-19. Who could predict that, right? Even half a year ago, like it just kind of all started really fast and now we have this new reality. So we couldn't predict that, and whatever 5-year plan you had, well, it's basically done and you gotta create a new plan. Although there might be some directions of your life where you might be moving over 5-10 years, no matter what's happening in the world. But for me, it always more manageable to look at 1 month and ask myself, like, where I want to be in a month from now. How do I want to affect to change my health, my fitness, how I want to get better, what kind of results and outcomes I want to see there, my relationships, my career, my personal development, what skills, what habits I'd like to work on in order to become that person who I aspire to be. So I'm asking myself these questions and I'm creating some sort of plan of actions, of precise actions in all these areas to change different aspects of self and my life. So if I, for example, this month, when it comes to my health and fitness, I want to optimize for more energy throughout the day, more effective and efficient output of my work, of like work with my clients, content. I want to make it better, more consistent, and I want to put more energy into that. And in order to do that, I need to manage my own energy better, and I'm not always the best at it. Like sometimes I still can waste time on social media, a lot of time, or watching something or reading something that is not that important and I could skip it, but there are all these newsletters and news and seems all that important, especially for a person who loves learning and reading. And then I end up exhausted mentally before I get to the work that actually is important and meaningful, maybe to a piece of content or writing that I know I need to get out, but it also takes energy, creative, mental, physical energy. And so I'm not always managing my energy levels all that well. And so I want to get better at it. And I'm going to be experimenting with different lifestyle choices and adjustments, like sleep or adding naps on a regular basis. What else? Fasting and eating at different times and seeing how it affects my energy throughout the day. Different foods, they do affect our energy a lot. So I'm setting up a few experiments to see how they work. And just like with any experiment, you never really know, how well it's going to work or how not so well it's going to work. But even when you know what's not working, you're much closer to know the things that might be working, right? The point of of me sharing this with you guys is you always want to have a direction, and at the beginning of month, also at the end of the year, it's a great time to do some planning for where you want to go in your life, your relationships, your work, your financial situation, your career, your health, your fitness. Where do you want to go? And in order to go there, you actually have to make a plan and figure out precise actions and habits that you'll be doing every day or consistently. And we talked about consistency and habits last week, so please do check out the episodes that we did last week. Today, I'm going to be publishing a blog that I already wrote, summarizing these techniques to build habits that you want to build for life using actual science, not hoping that one day, one of those miraculous days, you'll wake up like that different person that's gonna do all and everything that you always wanted to do. Guys, that's not happening to any of us. So check out my blog. I'm gonna add links later to the show notes. So check out my blog and start building those habits that will build the next version of you and the next version of your life. So that being said, on building habits and making plans to move your life into the direction that you actually wanted to move, not hoping that somehow it's going to happen. It's not going to happen if we just hope. We actually need to make a plan and take some actions. Not perfect, but we need to do that. Besides all of that, I'm often asked these days, and been asked that over the course of past few days, what's the best diet out there? What's the healthiest way to eat? Something simple, right? Not like counting all of your nutrients and calories and macronutrients that I believe from all my experience, like more than a decade, personal and professional, it's not necessary for anyone. It's not necessary for me, for you, maybe for some professional athletes, for this important period of competing, that might be important, but for all of us, the rest of us, it's not necessary. So what's the best way to eat, right? To maintain great energy levels, great health, prevent degenerative diseases or diseases of lifestyle, to feel and also look amazing, not to put on weight when you don't want to, not to have belly fat or, just excess amount of fat that you necessarily don't want to have. It's not my place to tell you how fit or healthy you should be, but I'd like to help you to be that fit and healthy that you want to be already. Standards are different for everyone, but I want to help you to get closer to your standard of health and fit body. So what's the best way to kind of simplify this whole diet, healthy eating stuff? Well, one of the best ways to start thinking about that is we all need to focus more on whole foods, on foods, not products, foods that do not have ingredient lists. So if you're asking me what's the healthiest way to eat to maintain health and fitness, great looks and great energy levels, I always recommend to focus on whole foods. Ideally, made into fresh meals. And there are so many ways you can do it easily these days. Like there are pre-cut vegetables that you can saute for like 10 minutes. There are cuts of fish, fillet of fish or fillet of some meat, or chicken or other poultry that are ready to go into the oven, and you put them there, you set the timer, you forget about that, and you have fresh meal cooked. So it's so easy, but we all need to focus on whole foods. And guys, over the past year that I've been focusing on eating whole foods, not juices, extracts, protein powders, protein bars, or nut butters, even those quote unquote healthy foods like nut butters. Ingredient lists are fine there, but again, we want to focus on whole foods that were not pureed, made into butter, made into bars, or granolas, or powders, or juices, or smoothies. No, if you want to maintain a healthy, fit, energetic body, that what you want to focus on is whole foods. Fruit, vegetables, nuts and seeds, fish, eggs, organ meats, shellfish, poultry. So all these foods that you look at them and they are whole, they are not products, they do not have packaging, they do not require ingredient list. When it comes to dairy products, those are your naturally fermented cheeses like Parmigiano Reggiano, or a lot of other cheeses, or those are your plain yogurts and kefirs, the ones that were not without added sugars or a ton of other stuff. Even for things like, yogurts and kefirs, I still consider them a supplement to a whole food diet that consists of, again, vegetables, fruit, some beans, whole grains, not some whole grain bread. Nobody really knows what that means anymore in any bread, but actual whole stuff, like whole grains that you can see, like quinoa or buckwheat, grains that you can see on your plate, not made into any sorts of flour. The same goes for nuts. Go for nuts, not for nut butters, because recent studies actually showed that when we eat whole almonds, for example, compared to almond nut butter, we get, I believe, 30% or even more less calories from whole almonds compared to almond nut butter. Speaking about, calorie control and measuring your portions. And plus, those whole almonds produce more satiety than that nut butter, because of fiber, because how we chew it, how much volume they occupy, how fast they move through our digestive tract, for many factors that we are still discovering and we are still researching. For example, whole almonds work better for satiety, for weight loss, and also for nutrition than, for example, nut butters. And that's why, again, I always do recommend to focus on whole foods. Again, not made into powders, extract, juices, smoothies, purees, or some fancy products, or meal replacements or shake. Those are not whole foods. Those are products and more or less refined foods. They're still refined, not just cooked meals. And so the less of them you're gonna have, the better you're gonna feel, and the easier for you it's gonna look amazing. Like the difference in my diet that I've made over the past year is that I eliminated almost entirely, completely, 100%, all the processed stuff, even things like nut butters. It used to be hard for me to maintain a really lean physique because I used to eat a lot of nut butters. Like, it was the kind of food that was hard for me to stop. But it also, it was hard for me to stop. But the thing is, no matter how much of whole foods, of even nuts and seeds I eat, and I eat a lot of them, guys. No matter how much whole foods, how many whole foods, like what kind of volume I eat, I cannot overeat. Like my stomach capacity turns on before I could eat that much food that it will make a significant difference in my weight. I hope this more or less, makes sense to you. What I'm trying to explain here is when you eat and when you focus on whole foods, it is automatically, without you having to consciously think about it, makes it easier for you to manage your food portions, to not overeat, to feel fuller, to maintain your weight easier and to lose weight easier. And nutrients that you absorb from those foods usually are absorbed, digested, assimilated. They have much better synergistic effect, meaning you just are healthier, more energetic, and you feel better and you look better. And again, it makes it so much easier to control the amount of foods that we eat. And that might be an issue for a lot of us. It's definitely been an issue for me, trying to control my food volume when I used to eat more processed foods. And by processed foods, guys, again, I don't just mean junk food or snacks or sweet, sugary stuff. No, I also by processed stuff, and the scientists agree with me on that, food scientists. By processed, I mean even things like making almonds into almond butter, or extracting juice from, kale, oranges, or making a smoothie. This kind of procession does not seem to be beneficial if your goal is to maintain ideal body weight and great health. So you want to focus on whole foods, foods that you get without ingredient list, that you cook them maybe every day quickly, or every other day for a couple of days, or maybe once a week you do a big food prep. So you get whole foods, you cook your meals, and that's the easiest way to eat a healthy, balanced, nutrient-dense diet that helps you to automatically maintain your weight easy and lose weight when you need to. Whole foods are just so much better on so many levels. And that's the change that I made over the probably not even a year, but over the last 6 months. And I never felt honestly better, and I looked better, and it feels like no efforts at all when I now I focus on whole foods only, except for maybe like dark chocolate here and there, 100% no sugar, no sweeteners at all, but that's easy to manage. There is also like so much 100% dark chocolate you can eat. It's hard to overeat 100% chocolate. But anyhow, guys, that's the hack, whole foods. Besides all that, to sum up this episode, don't forget to think about the direction where you're moving with your life, your career, your relationships, your health. Don't forget that you can influence that by making plans and planning your precise actions, your habits. And don't forget that habits can be easier when you use actual science about our psychology, about our behavior, to help you to build those habits. So check out the book Tiny Habits, Google it, and also check out my blog where I summarize the methods from this book. They're quite easy actually, and once you understand it and wrap your head around them, it's going to be a no-brainer for you to build your new habits. To finish this episode, I'm sure I'd like to share with you some small habits that I'm going to be building over the next months using this tiny habits method. So I've been failing to journal consistently, even though I know how well it works for my well-being and mental health and to just have more clarity in my life. And so using tiny habits method, Now I'm creating a trigger for my habit and I'm making it tiny. So what I mean by that? Now, instead of hoping that I'm going to journal, now I created a recipe for myself that sounds like this. Every time I finish my evening walk, and I already do that regularly. So every time I finish my evening walk, I'm going to come back home and write in my journal, even if it's a couple of sentences. So before, like it was, I gotta write a page or 2 pages or 3 pages, but it feels overwhelming. So now I have this rule. Every evening after I come back home from my evening walk, I'm going to journal, even if it's for a couple of sentences. And that's what I'm going to be practicing for the next month. And a next habit, there is this book that I'm supposed to reap the benefits. I need to read it 3 times a day. I do that consistently in the morning, and that's it. So this month, I'm adding afternoon and evening sessions. And how am I going to do that? So every time I finish my workout, and I work out every day already, I'm gonna read this book. And there is a passage that I need to read every day, 3 times. So that's number 1, to keep my afternoon sessions going. And number 2, every time I hit the pillow about to go to bed, I'm gonna read a passage from this book. So 2 events. After my workouts and when I hit the pillow at night, I'm gonna read this book. So this is how it works on examples, but check out the blog, pick up the book, maybe Tiny Habits, and start slowly building the next version of self and the next version of your life with Tiny Habits method. That's it for today, guys. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you learned a lot of useful things that you can apply to make your life into something that you like more of. Use it for, personal development to create life that you absolutely love living. Don't forget to share this episode with one another person, because together we learn better, we practice better, we are more motivated to take actions on the things that we learn. So share this episode with at least one another person. And guys, as usual, till next time, eat better daily.